back. Exploring the map when it's completely unexplored is kind of cool. I like it. That's a nice price. I so badly want that 2,000 gold. We got it. We don't got it because we got about 2 hits of tools. Give me a nice delivery so I can get out of here. I can maybe do that, follow the tracks. 2 days to the southeast. Oh, that'd be perfect. If we can just jiggle the armor around a little bit, we can do that follow the tracks mission. Although not really. I've got injured lads. Let's just take the delivery. Let the boys heal up on the road. Cheers, lads. You've earned it. Rudolph can't handle his booze. Every 20 days. That had better slow down, and of course it will. It has to. Some poachers and mini raiders, that's actually doable. Not right now, but pretty soon. I get the feeling that, like, once I have my quote-unquote full squad, all of cultists that I don't want to sacrifice, which is, you know, we're going to have probably two bow and arrow guys in reserve and 2 polearm guys in reserve. And then some of the fights, like the undead swarms, we won't take any ranged guys, we'll take all melee guys. So we're going to have 14 is our full roster. And then we'll probably just keep, you know, I don't know, but how many then do you keep in reserve as sacrifices? We'll take this mission because we can pull these monsters into some reinforcements. I mean, out of habit, I keep looking in the weaponsmiths because I know, like, I need whips. I have to keep getting whips. But pretty soon we can head back down to the south and go operate in the south. Where's our bannerman? 47. Webnects. Bleh. 16 is too many for us. We'll hopefully just pull them into some reinforcements. If we are fighting webnecks, then you need to all be using spears and no shields.
My liege! Good tonight.
Hey.
Will you come with me to Camelot and join?
Prussian Pinsip, thanks for the follow, my friend. Welcome to Camelot. 'Tis a silly place. Actually, for these lads, if I have more spears, I'm better off with the spears. What do we get there? Hyper mine, hyperscape thing. Good. In fact, the Warbrand is one of the absolute best weapons for killing spiders. You can attack twice with it. You can take webs off yourself and then attack. It is... We could maybe get through this fight by ourselves, but I mean, this is a 3 skull, let's not muck about. Some reinforcements. Can you imagine running down a road, down a highway, with like dust in the background behind you? There's giant spiders chasing after you. Peasants, not what we need something a bit beefier than that. Maybe like a local militia or something. There we go. First Rothenbach Company. What? Did they not come help us? Okay, good. Look at the gear on these lads. But then again, it's all relative. We're super jealous of these guys' gear. But wait till we're 1,000 days in and we've done multiple sacrifice events and we've got the Davkul armor and the Davkul helmet. Have any of you guys in chat got experience with this cultist playthrough in the super late game? I just want to know the sacrifice events. How often do they happen in the super late game? Hopefully not very often at all. Because I mean, you get to a point where you don't want to sacrifice any of your guys. There's no way they're going to keep popping every 20 to 30 days. It has to slow down. Because I mean, like, if it popped every 20 days in a 1,000-day run, you would never be able to build a roster. No, it has to, Wolfgang. All low-level lads all the time. Fair enough. But then again, how super annoying must that be then, if you don't happen to... Well, I hope then it always gives you the option to sacrifice one of your low-level guys. Because I mean, if you have like a level 20 guy, like that, you know, if it gives you a legit choice, basically what I'm saying is I only want to have to make that hard choice once in the campaign, which is when I want the Davkul armor. Or lowest experienced brothers. Okay, good.
My liege.
Good.
Good tonight. Will you
Hey,
come
please
with
stand
me to
off.
Camelot and
Welcome back, mate. I've seen you for a while. Hey, yo to you. Stabby, stab, stab. So, one thing I was just thinking that speaks to the power of XCOM and Long War of the Chosen specifically, is that I've been waiting for Battle Brothers DLC for so long, and I'm loving this, but I'm just sitting here thinking about Long War of the Chosen. I want to be playing Long War of the Chosen. But I mean, I think that's mostly my personality. I go through phases where I will binge one game, and I've had many Battle Brothers binges, you know, where I play nothing but Battle Brothers and I can't get my mind off of, you know, onto anything else. But this is still great. I'm still loving Battle Brothers. Especially this playthrough. I mean, I must say I did not enjoy the slave drivers one bit. I needed to do some experimentation with the slave drivers. What I was thinking of doing is, because it's a 16-man squad, I should start thinking of slaves and slave drivers as like, you know, as partners. Like if you have a line of 8 slaves with a line of 8 slave drivers behind them, and then the slave drivers behind them must use some sort of weapon that only has a 5 AP attack. Or we should just see actually how much whipping a slave costs AP wise, because I mean you want your backline to be attacking and whipping a slave every turn. Oh yeah, our banner looks amazing. It's the perfect banner for Davkul cultists. Normally I don't like the banners that don't have, like, you know, a blade on the end. But I can imagine having, like, you know, it looks like a skull, but there's like a little hidden blade underneath it. That's the head cannon for me, at least. Get 'em, boys. Spider nerds. I mean, I should remind myself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer, but if you think the state we were in at the start of the last episode, only 5 brothers and really struggling, we've recovered very well, very quickly. But picking up that Northern Raider from that event, that was amazing. Just the stroke of luck we needed. And then on top of that, just, you know, just getting the guy is one thing, but then for him to have near perfect star distribution. Unheard of good fortune. Davkul smiles. And we just earned a casual 1,000 gold. We can get our first follower now. Good Fitz, I was never going to not take him. I was never going to say no. Northern Raiders are a bloody great background. Their base stats are very nice. Comparable to Raiders. Always a pleasure working with professional soldiers. Are they following events if you send him away? I don't know. I don't think he's the same kind of brother like the Crusader that shows up during the late game crisis. I think we just have him. Or maybe we have to, like, you know, mercenaries want to come take him down, or the law wants to come take him down. But we'll fight for him. It's like when you have a thief in your company. If the thief is low level, a lot of times I'll give him up. But if you have a high level thief with, you know, a defensive king, oof, nice. And thieves can make pretty damn good light armor duelists too. Come on, Spoderus, just die already. Bastards. Oh, come on, it's taking forever. Huzzah. One single poison gland. The thing is, Doocy, if you can stomach the sacrifices and understand that, much like the peasant mob, I mean, my two favorite backgrounds are Davkul and peasants, but both of them are very, you know, they're stronger in the late game. They are backgrounds that are actually quite weak in the early game, and in fact, you know, oppressively difficult in the early game. So you got to be resilient. You got to stick it out. So with a retinue, I spent a lot of time agonizing over who I'm going to get first and how, but we know we're near getting 3,500 gold, and I mean, the drill sergeant would be ideally the first one I want to get. And then maybe a scavenger. No, Doocy, from what I'm told, eventually you get your group of core lads, and then you just keep some reserves in reserve. Because I'm told it chooses chooses from the randomly 2 of the 4 lowest level guys. Leaf the sacrifice +3, that's what I want to see. This lad must just, I don't know, stay on the back line. He's got no defense. Garbage. $53 at 3. Ugh. Well, I wouldn't say cheese it, I would say optimize. You'd be a fool not to. These apprentices have such garbage stats. But hey, 60 at level 3 with 2 stars. I can work with that. Who are my lads that are going to use the flails? The guys with recover. Goon, Stobbie the dagger lad. Now, Hirguld could actually use this 200 warbrand, but it'll depend on what he's up against. Ooh, highborn with dumb trait. So dumb increases the conversion chance, but there is still a base conversion chance. But I understand. We've had quite a few guys convert already, and they weren't dumb, but they were lowborn. I'm pretty certain that lowborns are a lot more likely to convert. Okay, dozen men, cook, scouts, and many more beasts. Here we go. Now I can name a sergeant finally. We need one more level on Marden. Another 1100. I might even pay for some training for him. I need him to level up so I can take the next ambition. What are the tracks? Idler fertility. That's a scary one, but we can try that. Oh, you still suffered from a crushed windpipe. Oh. Can't convert nobles at all. No. Good luck, man. This could be a scary one. Northwest. Someone step forward and race the horse. No thanks. You only do that if you have someone who is either athletic or dumb. Someone who's dumb can fall over and hurt himself. I'll bring in a leader. Ooh. Should Hirguld use the warbrand? I think he should actually in this fight. But then I gotta have him stand back. This is scary. They have a marksman, so I think we're gonna have to wait until night time. Don't mind us thieves running around you. No reason at all. Don't be concerned. What daily rate? 109. I will say one thing with this background, we are going to struggle like hell to get ranged fighters. We, especially in the early game, should be prepared to have some guys who are not great with their range stats. I mean, if you get someone who's got like 2 stars in range and like 45 range skill, just take him. Give him a crossbow, you know, give him, it's called again, gifted. That good stuff. Okay, this is super scary, but at least my flail guys will hopefully get in there and do some work. Yeah, the long axe, fuck, is gonna hurt. Ooh! Rip Sparrow 4. I need Hirguld. Get in there. Placement was unfortunate. I don't have any rotation either. Oh, I should have given him a spare shield. Wenzel the Brute is going to murder Sparrow 4. Oof. Ow. Ow. 28%, 43%. Lucky. Until he becomes an actual, you know, spear expert. Honestly, I don't think this is a fight we can win without taking serious and unacceptable losses. Kiss Sparrow 4 goodbye. Like, I really want that armor, but it's just, it's too dangerous. We'll kill him if we can. Struck down, not killed. So we can pray for. Let's. No, it won't be brain damage because that's a bladed weapon. So what makes this fight exponentially more difficult is the fact that let me just gather my thoughts. It's the fact that we don't have a ranged guy, so we have to go towards them, and then they get that first turn. Because as you saw, we have to sprint up to them, and then they get to attack us. And the next turn starts, they get to attack again. By which time my guys are blown away by that long axe. Try that again. Oh god, now they got high ground as well. We could try whip the axe out, but we don't have anyone with enough melee skill to have any kind of chance to do that. We'll give it another go like this now, and then we'll just see what happens. We can save scum a couple more times. At least the only saving grace is the marksman only has a little short bow. Okay, I have to keep closing in. This is brutal. What am I doing? I'm just moving people forward without using my fucking brain. I don't have rotation yet. Oh, one more hit. Let's say that again. Javelins really are nasty. Like jumping in there would be kind of crazy. Just wait and see what happens. I've lost my chance. Fuck's sake, I knew that was going to happen. Should have known that was going to happen. So where I gave everybody shield expert, I should have given them rotation instead. Oh! Nice dodging, boys. It's in 8 turns, it's in 7 turns. Okay. Hank, that is clutch. That is so clutch. I should have split. But I'm playing like absolute arse tonight. So the privacy, my advice would be decide what you want the brother to do. If you want him to be a tank, then he's pretty much got to be a one-handed guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, when you're building a two-hander, you want him to be as defensively sound as possible. But if you're trying to build a tank, then two-hander is not the way to do it. So, but if I was going to answer the question slightly differently and say, how can you make a two-handed weapon user as safe as possible? Well, then you want him to have the right star distribution. Like, this could arguably have been a great sword guy. You give him great sword, then you have to give reach advantage. So then, let's say, you can give perks whatever you're accustomed to. Ideally, you want heavy armor. Reach advantage becomes mandatory, because you need it to help you gather up defense. Underdog is mandatory. And then just stats like gifted. And then I was going to say before the change to Indomitable, Indomitable is mandatory. But Indom has been nerfed heavily on tanks. Put a lot of heavy armor, so by not have any moves, I think you mean he will have comparatively low fatigue. Yes, so I mean it's always a trade-off, isn't it? You've got to decide what is the trade-off you're going to have. Are you going to have lower fatigue or higher other fighting stats? But like this guy here, Hirgul, is a good example. We looked at his base stats and we analyzed him. He's got nice melee skill, but his fatigue isn't that great. So we are still going to put him in heavy armor, but that'll put his fatigue at around 50 to 60, which is very low. But the two-handed mace is a bit of an exception, because the two-handed mace doesn't use a lot of fatigue. Because the only time you're going to be attacking twice with the two-handed mace is if you kill someone with the first swing and you proc berserk. And so if you're not killing someone, you're only using 15 fatigue every turn, unless you stun someone. The thing is, like a greatsword is the most fatigue reliant, because you want to be able to use like swing twice, or swing and split, and swing and just attack. But then again, for a guy like that, for a greatsword guy, I have a greatsword. Let's see, like, so if he was a greatsword guy, it would be 25 fatigue to split and 25 fatigue for swing. So ideally I would want enough fatigue for him to be able to use swing and split for 2 turns in a row. So turn 1, swing and then split. Turn 2, swing and then split. And then if he's exhausted at that point, that's kind of fine. So it costs 100 fatigue to do swing, split, but minus 15 because you recover 15 between the 2 turns, so 85. So for a great sword, 85 fatigue is your magic number. But bear in mind, if you get hit by a blunt weapon like a mace or something, then you're going to lose some fatigue and you're not going to be able to do that. Come on, kill this fucking guy. Eventually we can just surround this leader and take his armor. Ooh, owie. Oh, this has been Shield Expert pretty much paying for itself. A bunch of these misses I think are down to the fact that we had Shield Expert. Leaf, don't step in, you will get killed. Yes. Cultists, correct. You're here to bring glory to Davkul. Oh god. Give me a stab. Nice. Break some morale. Fucking hell. Who was that died? Stobbie, our dagger lad, just died. Fucking hell. Now this fight was going so well and then instantly you just lose someone. I mean, we are gaining some decent armor, but we've lost our dagger guy. Isn't there a resurrection event for Davkul cultists? No, I'm thinking of Darkest Dungeon. Flail squad. The problem with the flail squad is you just don't have enough damage. I mean, if just a couple of swings they roll quite low on the damage table, then you just don't do enough damage and you lose the fight that way. I've had it happen. It is super disappointing. Like that guy hitting the head there, he rolled quite high on the damage table. Well, rip me, rip Stobbie. But considering the loot we've gotten, I think that's worth it. We don't save scum that. Yeah, that's right. I did take 2 flails to the head. No one's surviving that. Heal Gould, I think I want you using the flail. No, I could actually have him use the military cleaver. He's nice and accurate. Right, so who of our sacrifices is going to go on the front line now? Whichever one has the highest defensive numbers. 10, 7, 6, 14. Okay, so Henke. Helmet? No helmet? There you go. Bam. Leaf will go there. Ooh, hello. Leather scale armor, nice. There wasn't a permanent injury. Yeah, no permanents. Henke the sacrifice. I could actually. His fatigue isn't that great. Give him a sword with that accuracy. Again, I need the lads who have recover to use flails. Hopefully, pop open heads. Or Henke can actually use an axe and just break shields for us. Yeah, that'll be better at facilitating the frontline lads. I finally feel like we're stabilizing. The fact that we now are starting to get worn chainmail and level 5s and 4 on the front line it's at that point that I start to feel like I'm stabilizing. Little Cthulhu, thanks for the follow. Hard name. Little Cthulhu. Little Cthulhu. Say that 10 times quickly. Little Cthulhu. Little Cthulhu. Little Cthulhu. And also, okay, this is actually big. Now, on two parts of the formation, I've got axes. So Torvald and Henke, their jobs are going to be to break shields to facilitate all the other guys. And Telhar can actually start using a sword now. He's got 60 melee skill. I've got a flail here ready to go. We also scored 2 kite shields. And let's see, so we've got armor ready to go for the next 2 lads. So a lot of this can be sold. Speaking of the south, I think we should move our way down to the south. I feel like we're finally strong enough to be able to, with reasonable confidence, fight the enemies in the south. And I'm just so curious about what's down there. Yes, I am. I just died in this fight. Pounded to death by a brigand raider. But to be fair, I took a wooden flail to the head 2 shots in a row. It was a big oof. Decent money. A spot just opened up. I love me a caravan hand, but he's a little expensive. Brawlers I'll hire on site. Brawlers get +5 melee skill, +5 defense, +5 resolve. That being said, his stars on... He's only a 4-star brother and the distribution isn't great. So that is a sacrifice. But he'll do. I wonder if we get one more lad in. Maybe we should go for 12 men. Let's save up and see if we can't get ourselves a sergeant. I didn't realize in those first few episodes how the beret had moved itself, because I never wear it. And as you're saying, you have to put it in water and shape it, which I haven't done yet. Let's take stock quickly of what I've got. I've got a monolith tank. I've got, okay, goon. I just want to see which of my guys have long-term potential. So Mizuma, he's going to be the tank god that holds the northern flank when we one day take down the black monolith. Irguld is a nice two-handed mace fighter. Henke is rubbish. Sparrow 4 is the other tank. We're going to run 2 tanks for most of the campaign. Sacrifice, sacrifice. Our bannerman we've got there, that's fine. Sacrifice and sacrifice. So we are going to have to work through a lot of these sacrifices. This is I mean, like in any campaign, there's a lot of hiring and firing, but even more so with cultists because, you know, people have to get cut up and whatnot. Like this just pisses me off. That is so unlucky. If he just had stars in melee skill. Okay, so that is just another... that's a goon, because he's already a cultist. He does come with a dagger though, which is sweet. He'll do. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm hoping that Marden, he actually isn't the most high-ranking cultist. I think Stobbie... No, hang on. So, Mizuma is. He's a zealot. +10 resolve. He's going to use the dagger. 60 60 skill, 69. Heck, 9. I must say, I mean, I'm not complaining about the fact that we have these camp followers, but now, if it wasn't for the camp followers, now would be the part of the campaign where I start fishing for ranged fighters, but I can't because I need to save up 3,500 buy myself a sergeant. Oh, hello. Bam, we're up to 12. Excellent. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wee wah. So, we lost Stobbie. Our dagger guy. This is a 6-star brother. And so 60 at level 1. Let's do the calculations quickly. The melee skill 3 stars. He's going to roll 3 to 4. So call that 3.5. So 95 melee skill at level 11 on average. Defensively is going to be the big problem for him. I think this is a duelist. Because he's got 2 stars in initiative. Go ahead and strip down for us, Ulf. So initiative 2 stars is 5 every level. So you'll get up to 150. And so it's 15, so 20 odd defense. The other way we could do it is we could still I'm thinking, okay, we can either make him the new dagger replacement, but we still make him very high initiative, and then he's just going to be on turn 1 he will stab, 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 turn 2 he'll recover, turn 3 stab, 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 turn 4 recover. But the thing is, if I'm going to make him a duelist, he's going to be a mace duelist. But then again, the problem with duelists that I still keep coming back to, at the end of the day, no matter what, I still can't see the situation where even the... Okay, hang on, let me gather my thoughts. Tell me the situation where the damage output of a god tier one-handed mace duelist, when is he going to outperform a two-handed mace guy? He would have to trigger a berserk, do more damage. The thing is, the two-handed mace is just so much more reliable. The damage numbers are kind of better. They're slightly less better than a one-handed mace. But the two-handed mace gives you days, and you can stun for 2 turns. The thing is though, Super, in our previous offline experimentation, we tried a sword duelist, and it was very underwhelming. When it was like, when you're up against any sort of armor, it's just garbage. I think we make him a dagger. But the thing is, he's going to be using a shield then, which will obviously take, 14 off. Yeah, we tried all the swords. We tried the fencing sword, we tried the shamshir, we tried the noble sword. The only sword we didn't try was the lightning sword, but the lightning sword is destined to be used by Mizuma. I think we just make him a dagger guy. It's kind of a pity we're going to lose a lot of his initiative. And I actually don't want his initiative to be that high, because I want the guys using axes to act before him. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Conductive. The other option for duelist is a cleaver, so you can apply bleed. But the thing is, I'm still not crazy. I'm not crazy about bleed because it applies at the end of the turn. Yeah, I think this might be our Katal. Remember, we need 2 dagger guys, so this is going to be the second coming of Stobbie. So here's what we're going to do. We will bet on having noble mail, the helmet, I forget what it's called, the bassinet helmet thing, a heater shield, and a dagger. Because the thing with the dagger guy, you only need him to have enough fatigue so that he can stab 3 times 2 turns in a row. Hmm. We already had a super come and go, I think. Do we have a super duper noob? Oh, it was in the previous playthrough. Well, anyway, super. When the next cultist becomes available, you can have him. Here we go. This goon. This is perfect. This is a perfect super duper noob. Because you are a goon. Stars and range skill we're never going to use. How close are you to leveling? 900 more XP and then we can get that ambition. Yes, now that I've got my 12 lads, I hopefully should only be spending money hiring lads who get sacrificed. So getting a full squad is an important milestone as well. Can we make profit from 191? I think we can. It's not a big margin on that. Don't even look at those lads. The problem is I've got 12 guys and I've got no ranged fighters whatsoever, so I should actually be looking for ranged guys. We're going to unlock our second slot. We probably already have 2 slots. No, 350. Next one is at 750. Okay. Well, Raging Fury, the thing is, we need to hire and fire poachers and shepherds to give us our best chance of our ranged guys. We are not going to take the risk of hiring a hunter until we have some booger sugar, some cocaine in reserve. Because what happens is, I've had it happen before. You finally find a nice hunter, you get yourself a godly 9-star hunter. Then the first time you make a living tentpole out of one of your brothers, he runs away. You make a good point about the tool price. Like, the thing is, I feel like I should stock up now on tools, but we're trying to push to 3,200. I have to buy all these tools. 45, 65, 85, 100, 125. Oh, Ducey, have you not encountered that particular sacrifice event? Brutal. One of the brothers gets spears stuck up his arse, out of his throat, and out of his mouth, and out of his neck. And they turn him into a tripod, and then they build a fire underneath him. I will say, the sacrifices don't spare any of the details. It is gruesome. Hunt down web next, we can do that. The previous sacrifice event, the brother got flayed alive and then cooked over a fire. Okay, so for those of you who might not have a lot of experience, Lindell, thanks for following. What I'm going to show you here, this is at least what works for me. This is what I refer to as the web-necked protocol. Strip your shields away, you don't need the shields. Everyone just needs a spear. And the extra bit of damage is going to help. Hirguld is the exception, he's got nice accuracy. Warbrand is the best spider killing weapon though. Ouch! Oh, what a dreadful start. This is bad. Don't have a lot of rotation either. Okay, there's some rotation. Good. If I can just get into position, this shouldn't be too bad because the trees at least will create a natural funnel for the spiders. He has up north there where it's going to get spicy. It might get a little spicy there as well. Oh, bleed to death, spider nerd. Should I push out here? We can maybe break out there. Yes. No, stay put. You see how the amount of damage you do kind of doesn't matter against the spiders. They have such low hit points. It's just all about hitting the fuckers. And about breaking their webs every turn. See, if my polearm lads had rotation, then we could get extra attack out this turn, but we don't. That's the problem there. Pretty much whenever a brother starts a turn with net on him and a spider, he's going to get bitten. And luckily Hank actually dodged there. Super duper noob is in big trouble. Come on, for fuck's sake. If you find yourself later on in the campaign as well, fighting spiders, you can have loads of dogs. You just drop dogs. It makes it a lot easier. Okay, so Hergul just needs to be able to rotate super duper out. Done. Right, we're doing alright. Doing okay. I just need super to move out of there. Super, are you going to play in the in-houses tomorrow night? I can't wait for the in-houses tomorrow night. Tuesday nights is one of my favourite nights. Yeah. Been put off them, why? There's a lot of guys in the Discord complaining about the smack talk. A lot of guys with very thin skins. And they don't seem to understand what we're all doing there, what the objective is, you know. It's there for bants. I mean, Flax has gone as hard at me as he has with any of the other viewers. Like, I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I know that he's just as garbage as I am. He can say what he wants. I don't really care. And if he played as little as I did, like, let me put it this way. Pyrian is he's one level. He's Archon 5, I'm Archon 4. He's one level above me. And he plays, like, you know, a couple 100 hours a week. I play 2. And he has 20 ping. I have 170. Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, if there's a game with a coach, I'll generally sit out. But the games with coaches are very much the exception. Let's take a look at what these brigands are. Lots of thugs and a single raider. At this stage of the campaign, that is the dream group to fight. Because you can just murder the thugs and dagger down the raider. By the way, I hope you all are seeing what I'm doing here. When you hire a brother who doesn't have long-term potential, level 1 you take fast adaptation, level 2 you take gifted, and all of a sudden he's up to 64 melee skill. That's the best way to get a brother up to, you know, half okay as quick as possible. Then at 4 you go back for student, and at 5 you take rotation, and then you start taking shield expert, and by then he's ready for the front line. In my humble opinion, at least. Let's get these main weapons back in here. Wait, wasn't there? There it is. It was a sword. Yeah, I agree, mate. But this, I mean, like MOBAs in general, but Dota especially. Guys get fucking bleak about losses, man. I mean, other than Blood Bowl, the most angry I've ever been at losing a game has been Dota. But just because of my personality, it's because I'm cross with myself, letting myself down. Like, if we get reamed by, you know, like a Smurf or a better team, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But if I lose because I played like garbage and made mistakes, I'll think about it for days. I've always been super competitive. I think it's a good thing, but you just got to remind yourself. Since I've started meditating in the last couple of years, there was it was a Sam Harris quote where he was talking about like us people who are generally middle class and whatnot. When you're having a moment where you're freaking the fuck out or you're getting pissed off at somebody, that's when you must take a moment to remind yourself of everything you have and how lucky you are. And then like when I'm busy freaking out about losing a game of Dota, I'm like, I have an incredible job. I live in a nice, you know, in a nice country. I'm lucky to have awesome parents and family. You know, I'm moaning about sitting in my office with my incredible gaming PC playing video games. Is that the worst thing that's happened to me today? Whereas I live in the same world where there's someone digging in a garbage bin to get something to eat. And here I am fucking complaining about losing a video game. You get a grip, you know? Ow. Oh, techies. When I think of techies, I think of when he was released. I remember it was at the TI. It was TI, what was it, 5 or 6? And then they released him and people freaked out. They were like, hell yes! Like the jubilation. People were ecstatic about techies getting released. But then people played games against him for a week and then it was, this game has ruined Dota, remove him. I think they are truth bombs, but I wish I could have learned that lesson earlier on. Lord Lions, except follow. Although all of you following and subscribing, I'm so grateful. Last night was one of my best, was my second best stream ever. So it's great. The best ever was still that one time we were playing XCOM and Christopher Odd raided my channel. It was crazy. I went from 10 viewers to like 600. I'm like, what the fuck? We'll get there. You better die, you piece of shit. Okay. Surround that lad. Oh shit, can I close that gap? Someone get around him. 1, 2, probably. Okay, as long as you didn't damage the helmet's really all we're after. And I'm also glad to see that there's so many wooden sticks that we're stockpiling. Wooden sticks kind of become quite rare as the game goes on. And I think you need a stockpile of at least 4 of them for when we want to fight Hexen later on. And speaking of stockpiling, I want us to have, no joke, like 8 to 10 sets of armor with runes and sigils on them. And then if we have that set up later on, we can have no fear whatsoever of fighting Hexen. Let's see, he's going to become a cultist. So the high level cultists, you get what? You get fatigue and resolved. You get hit points as well. I don't know, Martin, but can you imagine like sticking that butter knife into the guy's eyeball? Two-handed mace lad. He could actually pick up mace mastery now and start using a mace. Do that. Right, so Davkul is the most dangerous lad on the field right now. Ugh, don't get me fucking started on the Hexen. Don't get me started. The Hexen get on my tits. God, they irritate the shit out of me. They get to cast all their bullshit every turn. There's no cooldown on anything. Ugh, it fucking drives me up the cocking wall. But what we're going to do is pretty much exactly what I just described. We're going to stockpile runes and sigils. I mean, like, it should be easier now with the fact that you can just sort of buy a Lionheart potion and then have it be active on your bannerman for the extra resolve. Because remember, the Hexen's abilities, it takes the target's resolve minus his 35 and then makes a roll to see whether it succeeds or not. So our cultists are actually going to do quite well against the Hexen because we're all going to have quite high resolve. If you have enough whips and enough lads with high enough melee skill, that can be an option, but it's not always that reliable. We'll start selling that now. Crossbow can go, that can go. The one-handed cleaver we can actually sell, which seems crazy, but we don't really need it. We'll take the money for it. Sorry with the privacy. I don't know why the Nightbot settings are so hectic. I should actually tweak that. You should be untimed out now. I don't know what symbols you were spamming. I'll take a look at my settings. You should be able to spam a couple of symbols without it timing you out. Bannerman. We need a mascot. Nice. Oh, give me money. Bit of a cargo. Okay, give me something where I can run down some brigands or something. Follow the tracks, and then we will do the delivery. Have I got to stop here? Sorry to cut the stream short, but I'm feeling a little unwell, so I better just rest up. So for those of you watching on YouTube, you're still going to be getting 1, maybe 2 episodes every day. With Long War of the Chosen, 1 episode a day, maybe 1 every other day.